Let's move on to the next game. We have Hawaii at Vanderbilt. Vanderbilt, a 17-point favorite at time of recording with an over-under of 55.5 points. This game kicks at 7:30 p.m. on SEC Network from a half-destroyed First Bank Stadium. It is not Vanderbilt Stadium anymore. They're currently rebuilding their end zones. It's going to look great, but in the meantime, they don't have end zones. So just keep that in mind when you turn on the broadcast and be surprised. This one I struggle with a lot. My numbers say Hawaii is extremely undervalued. They were, I think, 20.5 at one point. That's been bet all the way down. I still only have Vanderbilt by 14 points. But I just can't fathom how Hawaii slows down anything that Vanderbilt does, especially when they're on the road here instead of at home. Last year, they allowed 63 points, 163 rushing yards, and 2 touchdowns came from Mike Wright, who's not on the team anymore. He's with Mississippi State. But Vanderbilt as a whole rushed for 404 as a team. 4 players scored on the ground. I mean, the Commodores, they're still an SEC team. They're a very low-level SEC team, but they're still an SEC team with SEC size and borderline SEC talent. That's far and away more than what Hawaii has on their roster. If you're looking at some things, if you're in siding with me here, Vanderbilt over 36.5 team points. I'm not thrilled about that number. Would love to see it under 36. But like I said, I just don't see how they don't score here. I don't hate looking at the higher alt lines for better odds as well, although the market it's on Vanderbilt, so we're moving it in the wrong direction. You can find 16.5 in some spots. Again, I would really, really, really recommend patience with this. I don't love that my numbers don't agree with the spread, and I don't love that the market is correcting in that way. But what do you have the same trepidation as me here, or are you buying the numbers in front of you?
Yeah, this time my numbers do like the underdog. I have Vanderbilt favored by only 15. You said it was 14. It used to be all the way up at 20. You said, I mean, wow, yeah, that's a lot. I like the Commodores by about 15. The offense should be somewhere around FBS average for me coming into this year. I have them about number 64 in FBS. It's the defense that's concerning. I mean, this defense for me ranks number 106 nationally. And when you combine then what should be an average offense with a sub 100 defense, we're getting an overall power rating of about number 76 in the country for Vanderbilt. The Rainbow Warriors, on the other hand, number 124 in the nation, number 116 on offense, number 118 on defense. This equates to the second worst team in the Mountain West. They're ahead of only New Mexico by my numbers. But because Hawaii is one of 2 teams, along with New Mexico State, to play 13 regular season games this year, there's still a 23% chance that they reach 6 wins. 4 wins is the most likely outcome, single outcome for me for Hawaii this year. Currently making Hawaii favorites in 3 games. University of Albany, New Mexico State, and at New Mexico are the only 3. So this one is the second largest projected underdog that I have for Hawaii all year. The game at Oregon, of course, in week 3 is much larger, about 33 points by my numbers right now. So to summarize it, I have the Commodores projecting as the worst team in the SEC, like you said, Brett, by a significant margin. I mean, it's about 9.5 points between Vanderbilt at 14 and the number 13 team in the power ratings from the SEC. But they're still the significantly better team in this one. I have an 86% win expectancy for Vanderbilt, and I expect them to get the job done here at home.
So if we're looking at the issues with Vanderbilt, of course, you point out the 106th ranked defense per your numbers. They're going up against a quarterback on Hawaii, Braden Shager, I believe his name is how you pronounce it, who is just absolutely dreadful. 5.8 yards per attempt in his career, a 56.4 completion rate, 15 touchdowns, 15 picks. We're not dealing with a quarterback that I don't believe is capable of taking advantage of that 106 ranked defense. But if you're looking at FBS average offense, like Vanderbilt at 64, and then going against the 118th defense, this is why I have an issue backing Hawaii. I cannot, in good conscience, click on Hawaii or even believe that the numbers in front of me was saying 14 for Vanderbilt is really correct. I think it's a big risk taking a team that doesn't have the offensive firepower to take advantage of a bad Vanderbilt defense and surely doesn't have the defense of their own to slow them down. Maybe I'm living too much in the past. Tell me if I am, but I don't see how this is vastly different than last year's result.
Well, and you also have to consider, too, and I don't know, last year it didn't necessarily matter for Vanderbilt. They had to fly all the way across the country, plus then skip over the Pacific Ocean. Hawaii's doing it this year. And you get in plenty of time, you get adjusted and all that stuff. Like, it's not like they're gonna be flying in the day of the game, but that's a long way to go for a team to go play in the SEC. But also, Hawaii, they're thinking back to last year. They're thinking, hey, we have a chance to go into an SEC stadium and get an SEC team. So I think there are some levels of motivation for Hawaii that they can probably use to their advantage. Are they going to be able to use that to get a win? Probably not. Are they going to be able to use that, though, to keep it within the spread? That's where, it could be a maybe. Despite the large discrepancy we mentioned between the Vanderbilt offense and the Hawaii defense, there are these other things happening that my model doesn't necessarily see. And so for those reasons, that's why I'm not not a strong lean either way, but that's why I think, 15, 17 and a half, whatever, that's reasonable. It could be around there for these other reasons because, on paper, Vanderbilt's a much better team and they have a lot of other factors too that you could point to and say, this is another reason why they could be an even bigger favorite.
And just for anybody that's wondering what the time differential there is, they're playing at about 1:30 p.m. local time in Hawaii, so internal body clock. Not a huge thing, but they are still traveling across backwards 6 hours. So